Well, that is the Khyber Pass, which, as you can see, is clogged by boxes and bags and frames and more boxes and books. And I should be clearing that out, but instead, I'm talking to you. So, among the things that I unearthed recently were some large paint swatches from California Paint Company. And I use these pieces of paper to draw on, and the things I draw on them are inspired by the names that the California Paint Company have decided to call. This is called Shallow End. This is called Pale Jade. This is called Star Grass. And this is Jadeite. And this is Rainforest. Now when they get to be this dark, my ink doesn't show up very well. So let's try some. None of those were inspiring me to do anything. This is going to be too dark. Dark Cavern. Is that the best you could do for that one? Apple Mint. Whispering Rain. Pine Mist. Light Pine. Dill Grass. Woodland Walk. Bonsai. Fragile Fern. Tinted Mint. Trailing Vine. Early Harvest. Topiary. Lemon Juice. Fresh Artichoke. Lemon Juice. Pale Morning. Fresh Grown. Wedge of Lime. Can I draw Lime Sorbet? Asparagus Fern. None of these are really doing it for me today. Springtime Dew. Apple Martini. Kiwi Kiss. Kiwi's a bird, right? A flightless bird. Can I draw them? I'll draw them. I'm guessing what a kiwi looks like because I don't know, but I had shoe polish. I think they have kind of a long neck and a little tiny head. Big feet. Little tiny wings. No, I mean, kiwi was a kind of shoe polish back in the day when I cared about what I looked like. That hasn't happened in years, as some of my friends tell me. You used to be handsome, they'd say, looking at a picture. Back in the olden days. I think their body is really, really big, though. Let me just Google search. How can I fix these to make look like they're kiwis? I know I have books here that probably would have a picture, but Wikipedia is right there, you know. Kiwi Kiss. I think they have little tiny heads and big bodies. Kiwi shoe polish. I'm just going to look that up. Safari. Kiwi. Kiwi shoe polish, because that's what I remember. Shoe cleaner. Kiwi shoe cleaner. Images. Oh. This just shows, oh, there we go. I remember now. Let's just get a picture. No, this is Etsy. Okay, so there's Kiwi. No wonder that thing can't fly. So how do I, it's a big beak, big fat neck, doesn't have any tail feathers, just have to bigger. Well, I can see why they're having a hard time kissing, because their beaks are so long. They'll poke each other's eyes out. It looks like they have little whiskers. Okay, so how do we fix this drawing? Okay, somewhere there's a brush on my table. You have a little tiny Is this helping? I didn't think so either. They have big fat legs, little tiny toes. There we go. We'll just make them more blobby. Now, why are kiwis? Are they boiled in oil and turned into shoe polish? Is that why they're on the thing of kiwi? What do you think? Is that a kiwi kiss? Well, since we're here, let's just find out. Kiwi, K-I-W-I, name. Where'd the name come from? Not kiwi fruit. Flightless bird, national symbol of New Zealand. Until the First World War, the kiwi represented country and the people of. However, New Zealanders were called Kiwis. Okay. Kiwi girl's name, popularity. What does the name Kiwi mean? Kiwi of English origin, it means cute and sweet. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Kiwi shoe polish. Okay, let's get neutral. Wikipedia, there we go. It was Australian. Corporate history, shoe polish. Oh well, it doesn't help me. So, kiwi, that's the best I can do. That's going to be on my Etsy page in a minute. Add to shopping cart, $5 million. Mint julep. I looked at these. They were celery. I know what celery looks like. Kinda, sorta. This is chopped, but it has its leafy bits up here. Now, look at what I'm doing here. Is that what it looks like? This leafy bits up here? This fine line I'm getting when I turn the pen upside down, which you can do with almost any pen. This one, though, has a very, very broad, regular side. By turning it over, it's really a different. Look at me. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm writing with a pen posted. But there's something about this pen, this stubby little nib on here, that sort of likes this, look, likes this what's the word I want when you're really, really cozy? Familiarity. It likes this sort of closeness that I'm getting. That's not the word I want. Intimacy, that's the word I want. This is whatever this is, a Staedtler graphic brush pen thing. It has this little rubber tip, kind of like this things you see on the back of some toothbrushes back in the olden days. I don't know if they still do have them. And it's almost out of ink. If I wrote, you can see that it's almost dead. If I go really, really slow, well, even that, it doesn't work. It's like only the very first Duber is dark, and then the rest is light. But it's sort of fun to make these little marks that just make me want to keep making little marks. It's a good mark making pen. Okay, now does this have any, this is a brush. What I'm trying to do here is now get into the water-based ink and push that around. So sort of what's fun about this paper, this, not only is it giving me inspiration, but the ink sits on top, and if you just go over it with water, the ink goes away. It's like magic. And even the little brush pen ink goes away. So it's kind of fun, having the ability to go back and sort of erase what you did. Like, that's all gone now. See? Now sometimes it will eventually stay when it sort of, but it kind of needs to be finger painted. But you can't take me anywhere. I'm just a mess. Look, fun, huh? What do you think? Does this look like celery? Is that what it was called? Celery. Mark making. From the mark making school of art, which was popular when I was in grad school. Oh, I was interested in mark making. Make your mark. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, try another one. What's this one called? Mint julep. I don't want to do that one. So, too dark. All of these are too dark. Tavern Creek Antique Penny. Should I do a penny? Do I have a penny? There's one right here. Look at that. Is this antique? 1980. It's not antique yet, but let's try that. So here's, we'll do like they do in the coin catalogs. Don't they sometimes have a little bar going across where they show the front and the back? forget. So here's Honest Abe. I never remember which way, in my head when I think of a penny, is Honest Abe looking left or looking right? Liberty. Date, in God we blah blah. This is really a fun pen to draw with on this paper. It just puts down gallons of ink, as you can see. And it just makes you feel good. I was describing this sort of ink with a writer from India, and he likes writing kind of small with a big fat nib like this, and we were describing it, and I likened it to eating a very ripe peach, where peach juice just dribbles all over the place. And there's something very sensual about writing with a pen that has a big, wet ink flow. And it's also fun writing with a pen that has a niggardly flow. Now, for those of you that don't know what the word niggardly means, look it up. There was I hate when we have to be stupid because stupid people don't know what words mean. Okay, let's do the back side. Someone used it in Congress, and I'm using the wrong pen. Let me use a pen with a niggardly flow here to show you what it means. It means stingy. This is same kind of pen, but this has a more stingier flow. But on this paper, it's really wet on this paper. On this paper, it's stingy. Look at it. It even skips because I don't know why it's skipping, but it's skipping. But here, it's not skipping. Very funny. Why is it doing that, Pure Gustafson? So anyway, niggardly means stingy. And parsimonious, is that? It doesn't mean that you don't have the money. It's not being poor. It means you don't like spending money. Thrifty is different. Thrifty is you don't want to waste money on something you don't really need. It's not foolishly just giving money away, but it's, but where was I going with this? Okay. What does this say? United States of America. That's what it says. E pluribus blah blah. Anyway, this guy from some state said the word niggardly, describing the spending of, or lack of spending, of the government. And people thought the word niggardly was somehow connected with the N word, which it shares some. Yes, they're both N words. So is the word nice. That's an N word. So is the word nocturnal. That's an N word. But there's some N words that we don't like. And I don't like them either. But niggardly is not one of them. Niggardly is a perfectly good word. And how did I get on this topic? Who knows? So what do you think about that Supreme Court thing? Texas, along with all of the other people that joined in, there ought to be cases of sedition because they're trying to overthrow an election. There we go. There's an antique penny. Add to shopping cart. Let's see. Pirate's gold. Sea turtle. I could draw a sea turtle. Bay leaf. Camouflage. Frond. Olive court. Black forest. Okay, I need some lighter ones. Was this lighter? Battleship gray. Well, at least I know how to draw a battleship. Okay, this is, I think, quite a bit darker than battleship gray. Oh, we'll make it the Arizona because of Pearl Harbor Day. They have one funnel or two. God, I can't remember. But they did have these tripod masts that, had these huge, whatever they were, gunnery towers up there. Okay, and then it had kind of a bridge down here, and it had big bump, 3 guns, bump, 3 guns back there. And then it was one of these bows like that. But the top view of the Arizona had these little bumps here with the guns that went like that along here. So there was gun, big old anchor, flag. These are the things that were torpedo nets. Didn't do a goddamn thing. Big davits. Do I have to look it up? I'm just going to pretend it has 2. I think it had 2. Yeah. I'm going to draw it more interestingly than this in a minute. I just have to get all sorts of little guns over here. Completely useless in 1941. A date which will live in infamy. Now I'm drawing it and changing it here with my big old moppy pen, just because I can. Trying to show the aggressiveness of war and heaviness of a battleship of this era. Well, I guess all battleships are heavy. Now, why is this disappearing? It's like, I guess this color is sort of battleshipy gray to begin with. How about some green? Should we throw some green in there? And this is that really dried out marker. Well, as you can see, I'm making this into a mess, but that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to turn this into I want it to sort of appear as if it's a ghost sunk. What do you think? Add to shopping cart? That's kind of neat. Look at the way the light bounces off of that. Okay, now I'm going to go back with my pen and sort of I'm really pressing down. And the reason I'm doing this, digging into this paper, I'm pressing down a lot harder than I would on regular paper because I want the paper to be scratched. So that when I go back with my water, it'll maybe do something kind of fun. Look at my mess. But you can see the battleship underneath, you see? Isn't that kind of pretty? What do you think? You like that? Kind of neat. It's like it's made of silver, sparkly silver. Maybe I'm ruining it now. Do I have a future in art, you think? Okay, let me see. Do I have a really, really hard, firm pen that I can put my fingers on here? Where's a nice Schaefer, stiff Schaefer nib when I want it? This is very stiff. It's a stub nib. But it just digs right in. One of my neighbors in my building, God, I wish I could remember whether there was one funnel or two on these things. One of my neighbors in my building is a artist, and she uses paper like this that's silk screened, and she'll have it that's a piece of paper that is already colored like this is, and she'll take solvents, like let's say this was a solvent, it's just dirty water, but you'll get the picture, and she'll apply it to the paper, and then it'll slowly remove the paint. So she paints in a subtractive way. And they're really cool because, first of all, I've just ruined this thing. Maybe not. They're really cool because you think that they're painted. You know, she got white paint and painted it, but she actually erased the gray to get to the white at the bottom. And it's really an interesting effect. Now, whether you would know that without someone telling you that, I don't know. Sometimes the beauty in a piece of art is knowing how it was made. That's part of part of the process. And other times you really don't want to know, because it's going to ruin the surprise. It's like watching a magic trick. If you know how the magic trick works, it isn't magical anymore. It's just a trick. So sometimes you like to be dumb. I think that's one of the only times that I think it's good to be dumb, is when you're watching a magic show. Or any sort of movie. You know, if you watched a movie and kept on remembering that the guy in the movie is Humphrey Bogart and not Rick, Casablanca is going to be ruined for you, because part of the fun is being sucked into it. So what do you think? It's kind of neat. $5 million, add to shopping cart. I really like this. So, you know, if I were to frame this under glass and put it on the wall, you wouldn't be able to do this. But doing this, holding the piece of paper in your hand and rotating it like this is really important. And sometimes drawings have to be held in your little hand. I went to the Museum of Fine Arts a couple of years ago now, and I went to their drawing library, and I got to actually touch drawings done by... Did I have to wear gloves? I don't even think I had to wear gloves. My hands weren't filthy like this, but I was able to pick up the drawing by my hero, Saul Steinberg, and look at it and move it over there, and look at another, pick another one up and look at it. And it was magical to actually hold a piece of paper done by such a great artist. And holding this and rotating it a little bit like this and getting that little sparkle is really, really kind of fun. So I'm inspired. Are you inspired? Are you inspired? Well, you wouldn't be inspired if the sun rose and it was the most beautiful sunrise ever. And you wouldn't be. Nothing would inspire you. You're too jaded. You're just too. Now, did I ruin any of these pens by pressing down so hard? This one, this is the one this is a Schaefer pen. I could nail this into the wall and hang my coat on it. And you know, this pen is the one, like, you remember Peggy Fleming? No, of course you don't, because she died I don't know if she's dead, but her claim to fame was she was in the Olympics and as a skater, and Peggy Fleming was featured in a Bic ballpoint pen commercial where they put a ballpoint pen, a Bic pen, on her skates, and she went around the skating rink and did twirls and stuff, and then they took the pen off of her skate and then put it into flame and wrote with it. And different commercial, they fired a Bic pen through a plywood or 2x4 or some piece of wood with a gun, and it wrote. And I don't know whether this pen would survive a trip through a piece of plywood or a Peggy Fleming skate. but they are pretty damn strong. If there was any pen that I would be willing to test on her skates, that would be it. Also, because if it didn't survive, I wouldn't really be too upset. God, is there anything good about this pen? It looks like it's flexible, but it's really not. The reason that I'm getting, well, it is a little, just a tiny bit, but the reason that sometimes I can approximate a flexible nib is when I press down. When I don't press down at all, here's a side view of the paper. You know, there's the ink on the paper, but when I press down, the nib pushes down and depresses the paper, and the ink then fills up not only on the bottom, but also on the sides, so it will appear as if I'm getting some flexibility. Oh, you knew this, didn't you? No, this is a Waterman. What's wrong with this thing? Is this broken? Feels like it's broken. I occasionally have broken tipped iridium is missing, and I will keep them on a pen if I will sort of file down the nib end and make it into a stub, which is what I did here, because I don't think there's any iridium here. It's very sharp. I'm looking through a loop. God damn it, there is iridium there. Well, what do you know? It's only very slightly flexible. It has a beautiful, sharp, fine line. That's why it's scratchy. Really cool. I wish I knew how to do Old English black letter better than I do. It would be a neat pen to do it with. Okay, look at me. I'm a mess. Bye. Write your answers below. I didn't ask you a question, did I? What do you think? Bye.